we have to now review together questions that every person is asked. Every person is asked. There are many, many questions. Remember, it takes a whole year. But how the trial begins. First, the person has to announce his name. Once you enter the court of heaven, they ask you to announce your name. The fear is beyond any understanding. You are frozen from fear. Because you have to understand how many factors are working against you right now. Let's say you got electrocuted, or some terrorist shot you, or you got a heart attack, or you had an accident, or a plane crash. Surprise death. You're not ready for that. You're in the middle of a test to be a doctor. You're in the middle of a treatment by a hospital. You're about to get married. You're about to marry your son next week. You're in the middle of the preparation of the wedding. You're building a building. You're building a house. You bought a chain of stores and the closing is tomorrow. Boom, all of a sudden, something happened and your soul comes out of the body. And you begin to float in the air like a balloon. You look down, you see the body is on the floor dead. You see all the people running, screaming, you hear everything, you see everything. Call 911, call ambulance, call this. You see them coming, you see them giving you electric shocks, you see the bodies jumping, you see the wife coming, screaming, the children, Abba, wake up, please. You see everything. You are beyond petrified. You are so confused, so scared. No, I cannot die now. Tomorrow is the closing. I put millions of dollars down payment. How can it be that Hashem is taking me now? I'm in the middle of so many important things. I was about to give a big check to the yeshiva next week. We're always going to be busy in the middle of something, even if you have grandkids. My granddaughter is getting married. I'm the guest of honor. I paid for the wedding. Please give me another week at least to see the wedding. Nobody cares what you think. You're out of the body, that's it. Now after you see the incident, you're little by little flying up, then it becomes very fast, like a missile. You find yourself flying, and all of a sudden you're entering a place that's called the court of heaven. It's all white. There's no boundaries, no walls, no ceiling, no walls. It's something that people that died and came back to life described it, Jews and non-Jews. You are in a place, and then you hear an announcement, a very, very loud announcement. You freeze to death when you hear the voice. Announce your name. And you are so frozen, you can't even remember your name from the panic. That's why we have in the end of Tfilat Shmona Esrei, we have, there is a place to say a verse that starts with the first letter of your name and end with the last letter of your name. Why? If you say it every time when you finish Shmona Esrei, it's sgula. It will make sure that when you need to announce your name, you'll be able to say it. Meaning, even to say your name, you'll be so paranoid and petrified and scared and confused, you won't even be able to say your name. And then the trial will begin. There was one Israeli gangster in a gang in Israel, in Pardes Katz. Pardes Katz used to be the city of all the gangster criminals. Until Rav Daniel Zer, Hashem Yishmereu, today he's older, but back then he was young. He was acting, giving Torah classes to all these criminals. It's close to Bnei Brak, next to Ramat Gan. Little by little, many of these gangsters became religious. This guy, his name was Avi Hajani. I think it's Yemenite, Hajani, if I'm not mistaken. Secular gangster in a gang, dangerous people. Someone stabbed him with a big knife, kitchen knife, was waiting for him in a staircase under the stairs when he entered the building in the evening, jumped at him with a big knife, stuck it right in the middle of his heart. Penetrates the heart, the knife. He had like 5 seconds that he was still unconscious. He screamed, Abba! His father is the first floor, so the door is very close. They heard the scream, the father and the brother. They opened the door, they see him stuck there with a knife. Quickly they picked him up, they took him to the car to Bellinson Hospital in Petah Tikva. When he arrived to the hospital, one doctor was on the way out in a parking lot. He saw a big stain of blood. He realized it's stabbing in the heart. He said quickly, he turned back into the hospital and ran with them to the emergency room. And he had an open heart surgery, and then he died. How long he was dead? 43 minutes. Now you have to know, according to the law of science, if a person is dead for 6 minutes and up, all his memory is getting wiped out. And if he comes back to life, most likely paralyzed, brain dead, stuff like that. Please don't block the camera when you get up. Try to not to block it. So this Hajani, he was dead for 43 minutes. They already put him in a refrigerator. They cover him with the sheet, pushed his bed into the refrigerator. Tomorrow, supposedly funeral. He woke up in a refrigerator. Until that case, they used to take the dead people shortly after to the refrigerator. Now they made a rule. They have to wait for a few hours. No one goes into the refrigerator because he was in the refrigerator screaming for help and they were sure that he's dead already. And this Hajani made a tape 30 years ago approximately. What happened to him from the minute he died? He described how his father and brother picked him up, how they went on the sidewalk, they went in red light. He saw the entire thing because his soul was right above the body. And he described the doctor that was on his way home and how he turned back into the emergency room. And now he described how he entered the court of heaven. And they asked him, what's your name? And he said, Avi. Avi. In Israel, Abraham became Avi. Avi Hajani. Then he heard an announcement, loud, with echo, loud. He said, if you take all the stereo system in the world combined, it won't be as loud as that voice. The voice was, Avraham, like this, loud. You die from fear. You're dead already, but you're unconscious now. You hear the voice, you're dead from fear. You're frozen. And he said, nobody in my life called me Avraham. Everyone called me Avi. If I was in school, the teachers say Avram. In Israel, the Chilonim don't say Avraham. Avram. 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 Avraham? No one. First time in my life I hear Avraham. Then they show him his entire life. And in the end, the verdict was that he gets permission to return to the body for one more chance, which was very, very rare. If 1 million people died in the world, maybe 5, 10 of them can return to life. You can watch my film, Life After Death. I don't want to go into the details. Over there, I show all the scenarios, everything. What happened when a person died and all of that. But that's not the topic tonight. I want to talk about the questions of the trial. So, some people return to life, and then they describe every room in a hospital, what happens there. They are in the first floor emergency room. When they wake up after 10, 20, 30 minutes, not only they're not brain damaged, they can tell you in each room what's going on. One of them said there is a tennis sneakers in the side of this building, on the 7th floor, 2 tennis right by the window. How did you see it? I was outside of the wall of the hospital. I was everywhere. My soul traveled in every room. I saw everything in the hospital. And at the same time, you see the place of the accident where he died, which is miles away.